this show, we do not gatekeep. It's all about allowing people access to the information that God has given us, the experience that we've gotten, and also just being able to multiply conversation. So it starts with one, it reaches many, and ultimately it is our mission to impact millions. So on today's episode, I have with me a special guest, a content creator, the one, and what I love is that she does not gatekeep at all. And you guys are gonna have to forgive me because I let her know beforehand I'll probably mispronounce her last name, which I've shared with you guys in the past. I start to butcher stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna read a little bit about our special guest and I'll have her give you more information about who she is. So the mystery guest on today is a no BS content marketing strategist, business coach, and creator. The Content Confidential, a signature program that she created designed to help entrepreneurs uncover what's missing in their content, build a strategy that actually sells with over a decade of experience. Once again, it's See, I need help. Help me out.
Jelena.
Jelena. It's so funny because before the podcast, I keep practicing in my head. So we're just gonna. Jelena is known for her sharp strategy, storytelling expertise, and detective-like ability to diagnose content gaps and turn chaos to clarity. She helps coaches, service providers, and brands create intentional content that grows their community, deepens connections, and drives conversions without gimmicks, fluff, or recycled templates. So I always like to ask any of my guests to share with me who are you beyond just a bio.
Oh, Ashley, thank you so much for having me on the show. First of all, it's such a pleasure to be here for your listeners, for your YouTube subscribers. Yeah, so beyond the bio, I my story is quite simple, but I would say very long. So I started in my first online business when I was 18 years old. My parents introduced me to the world of network marketing, and it basically opened up the doors to the whole online space, to the world of social media, to the world of digital marketing. Because I came into the industry, I had no audience, I had no personal brand. I am Russian, so English is not my first language.
Yeah.
So, like, building it in a foreign language was very freaking challenging. And yeah, so like if there's one person who started it from scratch with no connections, no business knowledge, no degree, just a high school diploma. That's even though
Yeah.
like I was a straight A student, but nobody taught me how to do business. The only useful things that I learned at school, besides like math and logic, was computer science classes that we've had in high school. That I learned WordPress and I taught myself Photoshop since I was like
Oh
11,
wow.
I think. And yeah, those were like the few things that happened. And then network marketing, like I said, opened up the world of affiliate marketing. I realized that oh, there's like I can build my personal brand. I can become known in the industry. I
Yeah.
can build a community. I can become a coach out of all things, right? And at the age of 21, I got certified as a coach because of the initial success that I've had in the online space, building my brand. I've had a lot of customers and clients signing up. And by customers, I mean specifically for network marketing and affiliate
Yeah.
businesses. And yeah, and then it led me to where I am today, running a coaching business. I've done so many different businesses in the last 10 years. I've done web design, I've done social media management, I've
Wow.
done social media strategy. I've spoken on stages in the States twice, hosted my own workshops as well in person. And yeah, so I just learned so much about marketing in the last 10 years, and I've always been kind of like a geek or a marketing nerd. And so yeah, like even though I've done a lot of different things, they've still been in the same lane. I've never like detoured into like health and fitness and this and this. But and I also do have like quite an artistic nature. I finally picked up a sketchbook literally last week.
Okay.
So like trying to bring more like creativity into the business outside of just like talking about content marketing, what we're going to be talking about here today.
I think it's so cool that you are exploring something, outside of it. But the funny thing is, it still connects. I love how you said you taught yourself Photoshop because, without YouTube, I don't know where I would be with this whole Photoshop, Adobe, and all of that. And it just shows like everything that you mentioned, like web design. Ooh, need to slow down. web design, even with Photoshop and all of those things, content, it all mixes together because as a content creator that those are essential skills that you need to be able to show up, online and actually show up in a way that, is aesthetically presenting. I remember I saw one of your posts, and I believe you took the show and you use that as like an example of being able to tell the story of the show and the character in the show. And I just thought the way that you did that was so creative, and visually it looked really nice, but I thought like just the thought process behind it, I was like, wow, she has a very cool mind. Like, who would have thought to take this show and be able to, and I don't want to say sell it, but I feel like you packaged it in a way that I started thinking differently about it. What inspired you to even do that?
Was it the post that I promoted our interview with you, or was it something else?
I think it was something else. I know you posted it on Threads, and it was, I remember it was literally the clown. I can't remember what his name
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I forgot what the show was actually called, but it was the clown, and you had a way of like just helping us look at him differently.
Yeah, yeah. So I did this. I started this series. I'm actually probably going to continue doing it because it was quite interesting. So it started as a post last year. So I was doing this challenge with my coach, and she essentially challenged us to do like use a famous character, preferably not somebody in our industry because it just like it's like the line is too thin for that.
Yeah.
So last year I chose Draco Malfoy to do the similar kind of post. And then this year I was like, okay, so let me choose my one of my favorite movies, the It movie with Bill Skarsgård. Love that movie. I hate clowns, but there's just something about the way he's played him. I watched that movie so many times.
Yeah.
Love it. And I was like, okay, so he is, a villain. So how can I take a villain and take him into the online space? Let's say if he
Yeah.
wanted to position himself as a personal brand, rebuild his authority. So I was like, okay, so how can I take him and apply my content strategy, and specifically
Yeah.
how can I create a signature series for him so he can reposition himself online? So
Yeah.
yeah, and it was just like a different way to have people look at the content because we typically see the standard post. Here's 5 ways
Yes.
to do this. Here's
Yeah.
3 things. But I'm like, how can I capture the attention of my audience? Potentially somebody who likes that
Yes.
specific movie. Maybe they also hate clowns. Like one of my friends, she hates clowns as well. She's like, I cannot watch that movie. But I know like the inner thought that I had for that specific post in mind is how can I bring something into my business content
Yes.
outside of the business, like a
Yes.
little personal touch that can potentially attract an ideal client? Because in my head, I was like, okay, so who do I really want to work with, right?
Yeah.
Because usually we connect because of even like certain like interests, right? Like
Yes.
I'm gonna give a very specific example. So, not last year, the year before, I found the coach that I'm currently working with, and one of the selling points, believe it or not, she mentioned that on one of her calls in her membership, it was like a co-working call, and in the background she had Vampire Diaries playing, and I'm like,
I love
I'm
that
gonna join.
show.
It's so good. So I joined simply because of that, like because of her genius as well, of course, and
Yeah.
everything like that. But I'm like, okay, so I want to work with clients who also like the It movie. So that's how
Yes.
that post was born.
For me, as someone who was just consuming and looking at it, I was like, this is so creative. It made me very interested in learning more about you, because I was like, I love how you package something that a lot of people were talking about at the time, because I think they had like a new season come out for the
Hmm.
show. I love how you repackaged it, and it was the fact that you were able to convince me that he wasn't just a villain, and I was able to see his story from this different perspective. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, if she could take this villain of a character and make me feel warm and fuzzy towards him, then what else could she do with branding? I just thought it was such a beautiful display of your creativity and also your expertise in being able to, tell somebody's story. That I was just like, yeah, I was amazed.
Thank you. I need to do more with those characters.
Yeah, I think it's a hot shot for me. Like, I would be very interested in tuning into more of those things. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, for the people who are listening and feel like their content isn't necessarily connecting with their audience, maybe they're like posting a lot, but they don't feel like they're making that actual connection between I'm posting good content or maybe I'm just posting content and I don't feel like my audience is necessarily receiving it. Is there a common theme that you might see when working with clients that's hindering them from connecting with their audience?
You know, one of the biggest issues today that I see with majority of the clients and with people on social media in general is that for some reason the first thing people want to outsource, or the first thing that kind of being pushed on the side shelf when life gets busy, is content and social media. And I've even
Yeah.
talked to one of my close friends, I think it was last year, and she said the first thing that I let go of when I'm busy or life is lifing is social media. And I'm
Yep.
like, that's interesting because it is the visibility strategy, it is the client's bringer as well, a lot of the times. And these days people become lazy with content and they outsource it
Yes.
to AI.
Yeah.
And
Yes. Ooh.
we can tell, and we can really tell, because no matter how good it is, I'm sorry, like, I'm gonna be one of those people who says if you're gonna use any AI for your content, at least use Claude because it's so much better than ChatGPT, in my opinion. And don't be lazy. Like, let's say some people use ChatGPT or AI because they either like suck at grammar or writing, or they have some sort of, I hate to say that word, like disability, and like
Uh huh.
they're just challenged to write. Fine, but at least use your voice, talk into your phone, use a transcript, run
Yes.
that through
Yes.
an AI. Every time if I'm stuck for ideas, like I absolutely don't know what to create, I just shut down my laptop and I take myself for a walk. I go
Yes.
on
I
a
love that.
like I go exercise, I do something, I read a book, because you need some fresh perspectives that you can share in
Yes.
your content. So, one, stop just relying on AI, or at least stop using AI the dumb way. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like, give me a content idea. Boring.
Right.
Use your long form content. If you're pressed for ideas and you're listening to this, I'm sure you've created content before. Go back to your Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're posting 3 to 6 months back. Take an old idea, repurpose it. Give it a new life. You probably have new thoughts about whatever you created. I mean, I can go to that same post that I did about, Pennywise,
Yeah.
and I can take him and create a whole different piece of content. Or now you bring it up. I'm like, oh, I can actually take a different character. I can take a Frankenstein,
Yeah.
right, and use
Yeah.
him in a
Yeah.
post. And then also bring your own perspectives. Like, pay attention to conversations that are happening online. For example, the recent conversation that I've seen a lot of people talk about, especially if you're like in the marketing space, there's been this um, drama, gossip, call it whatever you want. So a big marketer has created an AI character and it looked like a famous copywriter. So a lot of coaches have been talking about it and like the ethics behind it, how not to use AI. Some people have thrown trash over both of those people. So I'm not saying to do that, but you can use kind of like the current events and what's going on and give your
Yeah.
own opinion, give your own
That's good.
perspective. Because what AI lacks, and I keep drilling it into everybody, it lacks your personality, your own
Yes.
unique voice,
Yeah.
your accent even. I mean, the ChatGPT sometimes spits out words. I'm like, I never use that. Talk
Yeah.
into your notes app. Talk into your notes app, and you'll see the kind of content that you're gonna get. Um, like, talk on social media like you talk to your friends, because people use too much jargon and then they wonder why their content is boring. And I'm like, because nobody
Yes.
freaking understands that. Nobody understands what it means to be fragmented, or whatever terms
Yes.
people throw around today.
I love that you said make sure it fits your personality because chat, Claude, whatever, the AI does not have personality. It'll never have personality. It can try to mimic it, but at the end of the day, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I can tell when chat or I can tell when AI is being supplemented into content because it doesn't feel genuine. And I will happily scroll past the AI video. I just don't like it. I think AI can be used as an asset, a resource that we can obviously use to help us with productivity. But I just, one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to clone myself so much to where I stop thinking and I stop being. And I love how you said I just shut my computer down and I take a walk instead of just going to AI for all of the ideas. Someone wrote in the comments, I talk into my notes app and add a transcript. That's good. Yeah. That's for me. I like to like think off of my own brain and come up with ideas, and then I'll say chat like organize my ideas because I don't feel like doing that part. That'd
Yeah.
save me some time. But for my next question, so you describe yourself as no BS. So I want to start there. What is something people are doing in their content right now that you would say needs to stop outside of AI?
I think there's a lot of sometimes people just want to portray this perfect image that they live this perfect life and everything is great and glorious. I think what really brings out the human is the vulnerability and
Yes.
sharing your own personal stories. Like, I do feel like sometimes people just fall back into the habit of sharing, like I told you, 3 tips to do this. People don't
Yeah.
care about that stuff. They can get that
Yes.
stuff from ChatGPT. So what can you bring to the table that's more
That's
unique,
good.
that's your own perspective, even some sort of spicy opinion?
Yeah.
So I recently interviewed somebody on the podcast and we talked about the trust recession that doesn't exist. And the reason why people often say like, oh, there is a trust recession, and I'm sure you've heard this term a lot as well, like in the last like, 8 to 12 months, is that people are so lazy because people like they go to AI, they try to outsource their power, they try to
Yes.
outsource their authority, their creativity and everything because they think that like, oh, like I just need to produce and be
Yeah.
everywhere on every single
Yeah.
platform because
Yes.
otherwise my competition is going to get my clients and this and
Yeah.
that. No, like you just have to go deeper with your audience. So if
Yeah.
you're going to be, let's say, showing up on just one platform, that's fine. Like, it's helpful if you can be on multiple platforms without burning yourself out. But I'm going to give a specific example. So I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I get on a call with my friend, right? And she's pregnant, she's super overwhelmed, she's got a lot on her plate right now, and she's like, I just don't have much capacity. Like, what can I do on social media right now? So I'm like, okay, you have the content, she has the podcast, she has her programs, she's got literally everything, every funnel that she can possibly need. And I told her, I'm like, you are good at writing. Why don't you pick up Substack? And she didn't feel like it would be yet another platform. She's like, okay, I have the capacity to write something. And then she shared her story. I told her, I'm like, share your story because her story essentially involves going from basically being diagnosed for perimenopause to being pregnant like 4 days later.
Oh
And
wow.
she shared that story, which came straight from her, straight from the heart, not from the AI.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, she shared that story got 190,000 views on Instagram after every
Wow.
post like performing really flatly. And I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's because it's your story and people want the vulnerability and they like that's real.
Wow. Okay, so I want to go more into the storytelling. So tell me why did you actually advocate for the storytelling? Like if I am a potential, client coming to you, what do you feel about, how do you feel storytelling makes a difference or helps us stand out from all of these people that's on social media?
Exactly that, because there are 1,000 or millions of people who do what you do. There's thousands of people who do what I do, but you're going to attract a very different clients than who I'm going to attract. And the reason is the story and then what we like, our preferences, our core values, and like things of that nature. But the reason genuinely why people have chose to work with me, and I've had a sales call last week with a new client, and she's like, I followed you for so long, I know you're legit, I've seen your story, she's seen me like grow basically from absolute zero to where I am today. And she's like, I've seen that you're legit. Another client
Yeah.
told me last year, she's like, you are still here. And
Yeah.
she's like, I've seen again the same thing. She's like, I've seen so many people quit, but I do see, what you represent. I do see your values. I do see, how your story has shaped you into who you are today. And
Yeah.
she's like, I relate to you in, like multiple different ways. And story is what makes us unique. Like, I can
Yeah.
teach the same thing that's 20 other people, but there's going to be a very specific person that comes to me versus them. And they're going to
Yes.
attract a very different clientele as well.
I think that's so good. And it hits on the point of like sometimes we operate from scarcity mindset and we're thinking that we have, it produces this thought that we have to compete with everybody instead of showing up as our authentic selves. And so another thing that you made me think about was as someone who coaches on content, There's people that think, oh, I need to just have a post every single day. I need to have a post every single day. But from the sounds of what I'm hearing you say is it's just you have been consistent and showing up with your audience. And so is that a myth that people are believing, like I have to just post every single day, even if it's me brushing my teeth, even if it's like, what are your thoughts on posting every single day, even if it's literally just throwing out random content?
You know, I've had I've been a very consistent person. Like that's how I'm known in like my community is like I've been the most consistent person at content. I've like somebody interviewed me yesterday and she's like, I've been seeing your content for 8 years straight. Like I know you've never
Wow.
gone anywhere. She's seen me basically like grow up from a baby to being myself
Wow.
right now. And the way I've viewed it, I'm like, you have to choose your own consistency because I started when I was 18 years old. I don't have kids, I don't have a husband, I don't have a lot of like the responsibilities that other women potentially have.
Yeah.
So you need to find, okay, what's my capacity and what
Yes.
can I realistically stick to? Because it's way better to publish 3 times a week something intentional, whether
Yes.
it's an Instagram reel, a story, a Facebook post, or LinkedIn, doesn't matter what platform you use, they all work. Rather than you showing up every day for 30 days or like for
Yes.
2 weeks and then you just burn out and
But
you don't show up
yes,
for months.
that's so good.
I'm like, you need to find the consistency. It's kind of the same like going to the gym. You know, we
Yes.
sometimes, January comes around, January 1, I'm gonna start working out and I'm gonna go to
Yes.
the gym every day. You go to every day for a week and then you come back, your muscles are so sore. You're like, I physically cannot move, like I cannot
That's
get out of
good.
bed because I worked out too hard. And then by mid-January, the gyms are empty. So that's essentially what's
Yes.
happening with your content. Like you have to find your cadence that you can stick to.
That is so good. That is so good. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Cause I'm thinking about it in my time. I know there was times where I like completely got off of social media, and it was because I got burnt out. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to. It's like I was trying to meet this unrealistic standard for myself, and I think what you just said made me realize, like, we have to put in perspective our lives and how can I show up in the best version of me. And for me, that doesn't look like every single day. I don't post every single day. But when I do post, I am number one, I try to make sure I am showing up because I just want people to know like what's going on because something is going on all the time. And so I just want to inform my audience what is taking place. But when I do post, it's coming from a place of updating but also educating. Like I don't want to just show up, hey, I'm brushing my teeth today, guys, and I feel real cute on me brushing my teeth. No, I want to show up and be, I don't want to say the best version of me because you're sometimes you won't always get like perfect Ashley. You're gonna get, we see at the beginning of this episode, I was chopping up my guest's name. And for me, like I one thing I want to be is I want to be authentic and I want to be real. That's my audience. I want to attract people who are like, I love Ashley and how she'll admit she has a stuttering problem. She gets very excited. Like I like to, just be a very genuine person. And so I love how you said, operate from your own cadence. Like figure out what's your rhythm, what's your flow. We did have a few comments coming in. Our girl, the Christian homegirl, said, I say all the time about the gym. I started 1 to 2 times and now I'm up to 5 times. And I think that's just a naturally good perspective to have. Like figure out what works for you. Especially because if we're thinking long term, like for you, you had 8 years where they said, I've seen you show up 8 years. Instead of thinking short term, like how can I crunch in the most content in 30 days? How about I think about how can I show up weekly? Maybe that looks like 3 days a week. But if we think about it in the course of time, 3 days a week, over time, that's going to continue to add up. And so I love that you said that. So I know we're, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I will add something to it. So when I first started, that's not how it's showing up. I was kind of like a crazy person. I
Uh
did
huh.
the whole daily posting because I wanted to build that momentum. So, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to sustain that long term. So I did
Yeah.
30-day challenges. I did two blogging challenges back to back. That's really what helped me build my brand initially and authority and trust with my audience. And I blogged before AI, that was 2015, 2016, five
Yeah.
to seven times a week on my website. Plus, I then added YouTube. And I did it for
Wow.
6 months. So that was a lot of freaking articles. That was like, I think,
Yeah.
just under 200 articles. So again, without AI, like straight from the brain with these fingers. And it really worked. So when you do want that momentum, I'm not going to be somebody who's going to knock on, don't do daily posting. If you can do that, it's going to be
Yeah.
great for the momentum. It's going to be great to get yourself noticed.
Yeah.
But I would do it like in sprints. So let's say
Okay.
you want to start the year January and you just go like full throttle and you go all out, right? Then maybe towards, I don't know, like towards springtime, a lot of people wake up, so you can do something actually around this time, like April, May. Then summer, it's kind of like chill. We want to be out, we want to like hang out and
Definitely.
everything.
Yeah.
And then let's say towards like October, November, when there's Black Friday and people are actively like buying things, and you want to like get in front of more people at that time, then I would do those kinds of sprints and then have the general cadence how you're going to show up otherwise, because I've done posting 3 times a day on Facebook for months. I've done all of that, but you want to find some like the middle ground that you can actually stick to.
Yeah. So I want to get into building the content series or signature series, and I'm going to, but I really want your opinion on, using social media as a way to, bring in clients. Like in your perspective, how have you utilized social media as a leverage to be able to, obtain more clients?
Oh, so many ways. I originally started with two platforms. It was Facebook and Instagram, and I have to say it was at the end of 2014. So Instagram looked very different. There was no reels. There was
Yeah.
only square posts. Towards 2015, I think the middle of the year, we've had these like very bad quality 15-second square videos. So it's been a lot of posting content and then also interacting in the DMs and building relationships. But like my main platform, my bread and butter has always been Facebook, organic, my Facebook personal profile that's now like a creator profile.
Yeah.
And I've leveraged Facebook groups, I've leveraged, similar collaborations like this.
Yes.
I've, gotten in front of other people's audiences to build my audience, because the number one thing that you need when you get online, if you are like me starting from zero and like the only people who follow you are your friends, classmates,
Yes.
teachers, like that's been my situation. And like the stuff that I used to post like 14 or 12 years ago, there was like a Facebook memory the other day when I posted a funny Russian meme, and I'm like, oh, how the times have changed.
Yeah.
So now, like, for me to make that shift from posting funny stuff to business, it was, first of all, it was very vulnerable. It was very like, I'm
Yes.
putting myself out there and now
Yeah.
everybody sees what I'm doing. My teachers still like my posts, so every time I curse, I'm like, oh, like I need to like, slow down a little bit. I'm like, oh man, they're seeing this, they're like, well, she has like a filthy mouth. So but I had to basically get over myself. I had to like show up and post content and
That's good.
essentially add more people to my audience. So the
Yes.
ratio would be like, instead of like this is my friends' family, to
Yes.
like balance it out to where I have more people who actually care about the business content and who care about the English content that I was putting out. So yeah, like I built the audience. That was the first thing I had to do, because there was nobody who, like, if I was to just put like a piece of content without going out there actively finding people, adding friends, building relationships, also participating in Facebook groups, they
Yeah.
still work. So and
Yeah.
to everybody who says no, Facebook groups don't work, yeah, they do. You're just not using them right. You just need to find the right
Yes.
places where you can contribute your expertise and just be helpful. And one of my early mentors said this to me when I asked her. I was like, how did you build your audience? How did you build so much authority? And she said, just help one person. If you help one person a
Yes.
day, you've done your job for the day. And that's how I have approached social media. That's how I've approached, even before I was being paid as a coach, before I even knew that I could be a coach, I would just be the most helpful person. I'm like, if I see a question and I know that I can answer, I'll go and do that, because it takes me 5 seconds to reply, but over time it's really built my community. And then the first coaching client who I've had, I recently found this conversation on Facebook with her. She paid me like $37 just because I helped her set up her social media. And that was before I got certified as a coach, before I did anything. And I was like, huh, she paid me for my time, for
Yes.
just me helping her out. So that was like a big a big difference. So yeah, just help one person a day.
So, number one, I love that you said the relationship building. And I feel like, on social media, we sometimes like look at the numbers, excuse me, sometimes we look at those numbers and we're like, I know what I've seen is that people want to have a lot of followers, but they don't want to follow a lot of people. And for me, I've been all about like, let me build my connections, let me build my resources, let me like connect with people. And something I've been saying is, can we make social media social again? And so I love
Yes.
that you pointed out, like, no, you had to do some of that work because my family and friends might not be invested in the business because it just might not be their interest. So why not me go find people who are actually interested in the things I like to talk about and maybe, also want the help that I can provide. And those are my community. So can you speak on building a community that is fit for your actual brand?
Oh, I love that. When you said bring social to social media, I've been saying this for years because every time I hear somebody say, "Oh, my engagement is so low." I've had several people say that to me over the last couple of weeks, and my first question is, how active are you on social media? Are you engaging or are you just posting and ghosting?
Are
Because
you
if you're posting and
engaging?
ghosting, like how are you engaging? Or if you're posting and ghosting, no wonder because what you give away, you get to keep. So if you do leave a comment on other people's posts, your posts are inevitably going to show up in their timeline and they're going to be more like apt
Yes.
to engage. And I did this experiment so many times over the years. I would go to my Facebook like randomly. I would scroll through my friends and I would be like, hey, who haven't I seen in a while? Because when you have like 2, 3,000 friends on Facebook, you're physically not going to be able to see all of them.
Right.
So, and I would go and I choose a random person. I'm like, okay, I haven't seen them in a while. I'd go leave a comment, engage, and then next thing I know, 30 minutes later, they engage on my post. They're like, oh, and then they message me, and then we start a conversation. And that little thing, just you being social and not relying on any of this AI and whatever, and just
Yes.
putting like being interested in another person is so valuable today. Like when people can feel like, oh, she actually cares about me.
Yeah.
She, sent me a voice note or she, reacted to my post or whatnot. And people actually do appreciate that. So for me, like building a community has always been about that. It's not just about like, you know how some coaches say, oh, you just gotta post content and your Instagram is gonna grow. No, like it takes a little bit more work or a lot more
Yeah.
work than that. Because relationships are not really built overnight. You're not gonna
Right.
you're not gonna leverage AI just for like it's not gonna do it for you. Like there's a lot of other things that AI can do for you. Like we've talked about them, like doing the transcripts of your content and whatever else, right? But the human element needs to be in your business. If you're a service provider, if you're a
Yes.
coach, you need to be human and show people that you actually give a crap about them. So that's what really builds community.
I feel like if I were to replay what you said, the part I need to highlight is, are you posting and ghosting? I've never heard that before. In my mind, I'm like, that is so good. Because I was posting and I was ghosting for some time. And I'd be like, why aren't people liking my stuff? What am I liking their stuff? Am I talking to them? No. And it wasn't until I actually started engaging. Like last year, I was like, you know what? I want to start connecting with people. In my mind, it was like I really want to be social on social media. I want to talk to people. And so I started talking to people, and I started finding like mind individuals. Like I like graphic design, and so when I see like graphic design humor posts, I'll go in the comments and I'm like laughing with people back and forth, and then I'll go check out their page, and I'm like, if they post things that are of interest to me, let me shoot them a follow. I think when we take out this mindset, like I gotta have all them, I have to have all of these people following me, and pretty much like them worshiping the content that I put out, then we can start thriving again. Because literally, why was social media created? If we think about how we have family members and friends that are in different parts of the state or in different countries, it's allowing us to have access to those people without having to travel there. Just like you, how you're in Europe and I'm here in Flint, Michigan of the United States, and I was able to connect with you and build this great relationship based off of just being social.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because we took the time, to get to know one another, we took the time to
Yes.
get on a call. I feel like people sometimes are just so like oh, I'm too like the I call it the diva behavior. They're like, oh, I'm
I
too
like
good to
that.
jump on a coffee chat, and I'm like, you never know where the connection is gonna take you. And because sometimes people say, oh, like I'm a business coach, so I'm just being followed by a bunch of business coaches. I'm like, well, you can always change that. That's number one, and number two, you never know who that person knows who may be a good fit for
Yes.
you, because
Yes.
networking is power.
Oh my goodness. Networking is literally is the reason I have a business because I prioritize relationship building and customer care. I think we talked about that on your podcast. I
Mhm.
love being a person that is focused on how is my customer being treated, but also before a person ever comes to you, they're going to have this question on why should they come to you. And for me, building a relationship allows me to build trust and credibility. Like, I don't force people to be my client. Number one, I know my worth as a business owner and the services I provide, so I'm not going to force you to come work with me. But what I can do is I can distill some trust between the two of us and show you, hey, I do know a little something. Let me give you a little bit of what I know. And I'm not one of those people where you have to come and pay me before I give you information. Let me give you some information beforehand. Let me show you like that I can contribute to you, because as someone who is a consumer as well, I need to know if my dollar is being worth spent on this person, because there are people out there who could potentially scam me and they just want my coin, but they don't care about, my goals and the things that I'm trying to do. But when I meet people like you who I can tell, like, no, this is what they do and they actually care about us little ones out here who are trying to grow, it makes me want to actually invest in the wisdom and the experience and the time that you've put in to learn this stuff. Something I said yesterday on the podcast was there something God told me this year is he said, open your mouth and ask for help. And he made me realize that I can either be like the children of Israel who take 40 years to get to where God has them, or I can open my mouth and ask for help and connect with people who have spent that time getting that experience. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to go and get your experience. I don't. I would rather invest in you to be able to get the experience that you've gained versus me trying to spend all this time learning. We got to think about it. What cost am I willing to pay? Either I can pay you, get the information, or I can pay with my time and miss out on stuff because I spent so much time trying to get the experience that you have.
Yeah, 1000%. And that's what I've learned from mentors early on is how can you fast track? I really don't like that word, but it does fast track your way to your goals when you pay people who have already done it, who have already spent
Yes.
years, who have already made all the mistakes. Like you don't have to make the mistakes that I've made. I
Yes.
can show them to you and I can tell you like, hey, this is how you do this. This is how you like evade this mistake.
Yes.
And yeah, it just gives you such an advantage and such an edge in your business when you can essentially borrow the expertise of another person who's
Literally.
been through thick.
Literally, it's like we're copying and pasting. Like, recently I hired a business coach and we had our initial meeting and I was like, girl, this is great. I was about to spend all of this time trying to create my templates. No, I didn't pay you. Now I have templates. This is so much better, and it just for me, it's gonna allow you to be able to show up even more effectively, because not only do I now have an additional expertise, but now I have more strategy. And I love that you even mentioned at the beginning, like, no, you have a business coach or a coach as well that you're learning from.
Yeah, and I always say like every single coach always needs a coach. And just because
Yes,
there is AI doesn't mean that it's going to teach us anything. AI, a lot of the times, it's actually going to give you BS information. It's going to give you whatever stuff it's scraped from the internet, when that
right.
internet is now created by AI, so it just keeps scraping itself
Yeah,
basically. Like it sounds
yeah,
very like weird, but that's
yeah.
what's happening. And I've seen this. Like I would sometimes go to ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, build me a content strategy. And it sucks. I'm like, I would
It sucks.
never
Thank you.
take that.
Thank you so much.
It sucks. I'm like, if I actually were to use only ChatGPT for my content strategy, I would actually lose my clients
Yes.
because it also makes you dumber. Like, it doesn't make you think. And every time I go to my coach and I'm like, okay, so I'm stuck with this particular situation. She knows my business. She knows, what I'm working on. She knows like my offers, like how I think and everything, because we've been working for over a year together.
Yeah.
And she's always going to provide way better information and feedback and insights than ChatGPT ever will. No matter what these AI engineers say, and they're like,
Yes.
oh, like we're in the future and this and that. And I'm like, no, like I still pay coaches. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. I almost fell off this chair. I don't know if you saw me because you just made me so excited. Like, you're absolutely right. Number one, we all need a coach. It's just like, in school, everyone, the teachers need teachers, the doctors need doctors. Like, everyone needs someone. And once again, I love the fact that you've shared that, and also that you highlighted ChatGPT be giving some horrible ideas. I kid you not, I wrote something to chat the other day or maybe last week, and I was like, yo, this sucks. I was like, absolutely not, this is horrible. Like, and then it said, well, I'll give you some more ideas. It gave me some more ideas. I said, no, please stop, never mind. And it was so funny because chat was like, I'm sorry, if you decide to come back, let me know. And I just closed the app because at this point I could have came up with a better idea myself. So let me just, I always say, the Holy Spirit give me better ideas. So I'm gonna ask the Holy Spirit, what's my idea? I'm gonna come to chat, organize the idea, and even like you said, like I might go to someone outside of my own brain because I just think there's a power in, and when people come together and be able to bounce thoughts off of one another, because I might just get stuck in my own head. But what if you have that piece that I'm missing, and I just talk to you about it, and I'm like, oh, the answer was there the whole time. Chat didn't have
Yeah,
it.
because the thing is, we are way too close to our business. We see it's like we're like this with it. But when
Yeah,
we zoom out, or like the coach helps us zoom out, they see what we don't see. And that's like
right.
why coaching is so valuable. And that's what I'm going to give a very specific example. So I watch a lot of tennis. Like I
Uh-huh.
love the sport. I don't play it, I can't play, but I
I was
do
gonna
love
ask if you
watching.
played it.
Yeah, I mean, I played a couple of times. I suck at it, but I do love watching because like the competitiveness, and I like a lot of the players. I've gone to some matches as well, and every single one of those players, they also have a coach. Why? Because that coach during the game shows them like, hey, you need to move a little bit to the left, or you need to
That's
do the drop shot, or you need to
good.
like hit the ace like this way, or you need to like that player is lefty, so you need to hit the ball into the right side so they can't return it. So the coach sees the things that you are like way too close, like way too like what's the word, proximity, like you're way too close to your
Yeah.
business.
That is so good. It makes me think about the Bible. Everything you're saying is just inspiring me because God sees things that I can't see. That's why He in control, because I can't, because I be out here messing stuff up. But I love that. Like, coaches can see what you can't see. When you're in the game, you're in the game. So there are certain things from their peripheral they can see that I'll completely miss because I'm focused on what's in front of me. And I love that you said that because even in my business, I need to work with other people to pull out my thoughts. Like, it's so funny because I can work with a client and they can share something and I can pull it out. I'm like, oh, duh, it's right there. Clearly, it makes so much sense. And then when it comes to mine, I'm like, yo, what we doing? I don't know. Their business sounds good. Maybe I should work for them. But then when I started talking to other people, they were like, oh, my coach did a me on me. And she literally started pulling out information. I was like, thank you. I needed a me to me. Yeah.
It really makes a difference.
So, okay, now I need you to teach me. This is where my favorite part of this whole entire episode, what I've been waiting for, is I want to know about building a signature series. Tell me the 411. What's the secret sauce? What Number one, what is the reason we should build a signature series, and then how do we go about actually trying to do that?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways to build your own like Bridgerton type of series
Come
or
on,
whatever it is that you
Bridgerton.
want. So there's a couple of reasons why series work so well. I'm gonna give you a very specific example. So yesterday somebody asked me, she's like, I've been doing marketing for brands. I haven't built my brand in the last 6 years. How can I like go back? Like I don't know how to like put myself out there again in front of my audience. And I literally said, do a signature series. Document the process that you have done in the last 6 years. Share your journey, because her journey essentially is building a business owner, then pausing that, going into corporate, working with like coaches and doing their own marketing, their own social media branding, and all of that kind of stuff. So still staying in the same lane, but you get rusty when you don't do it for yourself, and then you're
Yeah.
like, 1 + 1 = 3. I don't know how to like move forward. So I told you like do a signature series, share what you've been doing. It can be a week long, it can be 30 days long, it can be as easy as just getting in front of the camera and literally speaking. Because I know there are some creators, they create these like, I think it's Gen Z who are doing all of these like fancy videos with so much B-roll
Yeah.
and very elaborate like storytelling, which it's great if you can do that.
Yeah.
Then that's another way to build it. But I said like do a 7 day series and do it daily, like plan it. So you're actually doing it from Monday to Sunday,
That's
and
good.
you're gonna reactivate your audience this way, and then you can go into the content and showing up like you like as if you haven't been gone for 6 years. So and there's multiple different ways how you can
That's
create a
good.
series. So let's say I recently did a series for a psychic, and we had like a strategy session, and then like I essentially squeezed out a lot of her like brain power
Uh
and
huh.
like what she does with her clients, how she works with her clients, who she doesn't work. Because for me to be able to squeeze out a series like out of your expertise, I need to know all of those things.
Yeah.
And we did a series. It was like a weekly series, like a TV show basically. Or like like a Vampire Diaries, they used to drop one episode every single week. So that's essentially how
Yeah.
the series would work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people want to come back for more, and binge you like a Netflix. And with her, we did a series. It was called "What Most Psychics Won't Tell You, But I Will." So it was very like a no BS approach to her psychic
Yeah.
consultancy, and it was like very spicy because it was also calling out a lot of like psychics who are doing really strange work. So and
Yeah.
yeah, so we did like that kind of series. And then what you saw me create with Pennywise from the It movie, so
Yeah.
that was essentially a series as well, like me taking different characters and then showcasing my expertise, like how I would build a content strategy or how I would build a signature series for a character. So that was like a whole different approach. Then I was also brainstorming with that same psychic with
Yeah.
leveraging movies or like movie characters, and how you would, let's say, build their brand, or how you would I don't know, like do a Bible study with them or like something like that. Like
Yes. This is good.
how can you bring like anybody famous, but not from the industry, not any like marketer or
Yes.
like Tony Robbins. Like I wouldn't bring anybody there because it's like a very thin line. I would bring like characters, and like even characters from books. I've
Yeah.
done it wasn't a series, but it was a post. If I were to build a content strategy for Violet Sorengale from Fourth Wing, it's like a famous fiction book. So that actually performed really well. But yeah, there are so many ways how you can create a series. You can do either document a journey, showcase your expertise, or you can do some sort of like step-by-step process. So let's say if you are a videographer, or you
I need to
are
take notes. Keep going.
if you are a videographer, if you're a photographer, you can show your own process, like how I'm learning how to use my camera from A to Z. I've seen a girl do a series of like how I edit my Instagram reels, how I
Yeah.
edit my I don't know, like YouTube videos
Yeah.
using XYZ software. And some even get like sponsorships to do those kind of series. Because if you talk about something like Adobe can also give you some
Right.
coin for promoting that stuff.
So I'm inspired. Number one, I'm very inspired. You just made me think about. I'm currently watching Grey's Anatomy for the first time. Last night I made it to season 6 and I started crying because my favorite character died, George O'Malley. And because he died, now I'm like, oh my goodness, I could take that character and do a whole series, tying in what I know and what I'm good at. And like for instance, I like talking about the Bible and I love breaking out Bible studies. And something I used to do is I would take something very simple and I would bring whatever is super simple and make it a concept to teach the Bible. So, like for instance, I made a video a few years ago about how I said a pen ministered to me, right? And then this past Sunday, I was preaching at church and I did a whole example of how a pen literally was teaching the entire lesson. And I noticed like I posted it yesterday and I noticed like it got some really good good feedback. I was like, I looked at it and I think it was like maybe 130 likes within maybe a few hours, and I was like, oh, people like this example. And I was thinking about how I wanted to get back into using simple things like I can preach on anything. I could preach. I could use something, anything in my hand. I could use a water bottle or whatever. And I was like, this is something I thought about maybe like a few months ago. I was like, what if I went back into taking like just household items and being able to use that as a way to minister, the gospel. And now you got me thinking like, okay, don't stop there. What if you did it with your business too? So many ideas are coming to my mind.
I just
Even
had
with,
another idea
go
while
ahead.
you were speaking. So I know this is not a coaching session, but I have to share it with you. Maybe you'll do something with it, or we can work on it in the future. So what if you could literally take a Bible verse? You would have to do a lot of research, and you could do like a 10-day series or 7-day series or 30-day series if you wanted
Uh-huh.
to do like a run, and take a Bible verse and how can you apply it to like a social media advice? Like how can people apply it to their business?
I can do that. Listen, Linda. I can do that because I started writing. I started writing a book based off of business in the Bible, and I was looking at different scriptures, and I was like, oh my goodness, if people only knew that literally the Bible talks about business all the time and money all the time.
Hey, people do say for a reason that Bible is the most powerful personal development book.
You know what? Let me write that down too. I feel like this is my little bonus coaching mini session. I was gonna also ask you, so if someone is interested in coming on for a coaching session, like what does that journey potentially look like? Them coming in as an interested client.
Yeah, so I have several different ways how I work with clients. Either it's one-on-one, where we actually do a lot of accountability, we do a lot of strategy, so it's on a monthly basis. We do weekly calls. I'm on Telegram with my clients to support them. So between the calls, so you send me a message and I'm there basically like in your pocket. And I do VIP days as well, also
Wow.
specifically to build out signature series. So from A to Z, like we build out the entire series. And the way I work is before we jump on the VIP day, we basically have the scripts ready of the first 4 videos, and then on the VIP day you record and then you send me the videos and I edit them for you. So by the end of it, you walk away with essentially the first month for your signature series.
Wow.
And for anybody who wants to get, I hate to call it like a taste because I do pack a lot in my strategy sessions. I also do 90-minute strategy sessions with a week-long support over Telegram.
Wow.
So yeah, that's like different ways how people can work with me.
The VIP day, I have to admit, I might have to steal that title because I have another person that I was working with. Oh, actually, the coach. And she called our session like the VIP day. And it had me feeling very, very fancy. I was like, yeah, you can get some more of my money because you already made me feel very, I felt rich. It's my VIP day. Red carpet awaits me. No one, there's no red carpet. We met virtually, but I love that. And yeah, I was wondering, not asking for anybody outside of myself. No, I'm just kidding. But I was just wondering, what does that process look like? I love that you offer, the one on ones. I even appreciate, you have some people who may just want to come in and get some strategy, some information and guidance, and then they can just move on and they can move forward. Yeah, but I feel like I got several ideas I might have to talk to you about offline because you just that series. Now I'm gonna have to shout you out because I'm about to do a series. I had to
I
take. I'm
cannot wait to
sorry,
see
y'all. I had to take some notes. I feel like this is why I needed this session. So we are getting to the last bit of the interview. I do like to always open it up for questions in case any of our audience has some questions they want to ask you personally. But I know that I always have one last question I like to ask every single guest, and that is my mindset shift question. And so the question is, from your perspective and the audience that we're talking to, what is one mindset shift you want them to walk away with? So, assessing where they are right now and where you would want them to be, what mindset shift do they need to make in order to be that in that next era or category?
I think the one that I embraced really early on is being resourceful, because you can achieve a lot of things with the resources that you have. Because I've believed early on that there are people with worse circumstances than you are making big moves happen. So why not you? And having that kind of mindset really took me far because when I was 18 years old, I got into business. I had no idea what was going on. YouTube was my university before I was able to invest in anything. Like figuring things out, studying leaders, studying what they were doing, getting on their email list, looking into their funnels, reading a lot. I mean, reading I feel like is such an invaluable thing to do because especially if it's not like AI, but actual
Yeah.
like good writing, whether
Yes.
it's somebody's articles or even listening to like podcasts like this, you can learn a lot because I feel like that was like a whole coaching session. I didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
expect
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
so listening to real time conversations because I would even say like that's more important today than even reading because you can't fake this. Like you can't
Yeah.
fake the energy that we bring to this. You can't fake the
Yes.
advice that we give in sessions like this. I feel like podcasts, especially guest interviews,
Yes.
are really giving people an edge because that's like the real time happening right
Yes.
now and the advice that's working today, not 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, really being resourceful and leveraging what you have, and then also being open to invest and to shortcut your learning process.
I think every episode at this point is gonna end with be open to investing. I've said it the last three people with the last three guests is that we have to be open to, we're gonna spend our money on what we value. And if you don't see the value in someone actually helping you skip some of the mistakes that you could make, honestly, get your pride out the way, get over yourself, invest in the value of someone else helping you make those steps faster, or not even just faster, more efficiently and effectively. I think working with coaches help us move efficiently and effectively, and it helps us avoid some of those minor mistakes that we could easily not fall into if we just had someone to support us.
100%, I agree.
So, if people are interested in connecting with you after the podcast, whether it's for coaching or just to simply follow you, how can they get connected? What's your username on platforms, websites, any of the information to find you?
So my website is my full name, JelenaOstrovska.com. So if you can put it under the description, that'd be great because I
I
know it's
got
it's a
you.
mouthful of a name. So my website has all my social media. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm very active on Threads. Facebook is also if anybody's on there. But yeah, like if you send me a message on Instagram, I'll more than likely reply within 24 hours.
Look at God, because I think my time frame is starting to be 3 to 5 days. No, I'm just kidding. I try to respond as soon as I can. My other question for you is, do you have anything coming up that you will want people to know about?
Right now, I don't have any. Well, there's like an event that I'm speaking at in May, but that's in the UK. So I know a majority of the audience is probably in the US. But yeah, that's an exciting thing that's happening. And yeah, I mean, my calendar is actually open for strategy sessions. So for anybody who wants to build a signature series, somebody else's like eyeballs on your business, then I'm open. So I'm just a DM away.
I'm just a DM away. I feel like that's a tagline. I'm just a DM away. Just hit me up. So I just want to say thank you so much for being my guest on today. I really want to have you on here, not just for the audience, but also for me to just be able to learn from your knowledge, and the fact that you specialize in creating these signature content series. Knowing that I needed one myself personally, but you're just full of so much knowledge and wisdom and experience, and so I was like, yes, I have to have her on the pod so we can learn together from you. So thank you for joining me on today's podcast episode.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Also, we did get some comments in the chat saying that they absolutely love your energy, and I can say I do too as well. But guys, this is the end of today's episode. Once again, we usually are having episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tune in for the next Millionaire Mindset X conversation. I can't wait to talk to you. And with that, guys, love you, and I will talk to you soon.